This is the heartbreaking story of Gabriel Fernandez, an 8-year-old boy who was tortured to death by his own mother. Gabriel was born on February 20th, 2005, and he was living in California. He was just a sweet, innocent child. And like most children, he loved helping people. He wanted more than anything else to be loved back. Unfortunately, from the very beginning, Gabriel's life was marked by rejection. Just 3 days after his birth, his mother, Pearl Fernandez, abandoned him at the hospital, and Gabriel was placed in the care of his great uncle and his partner, and they both loved him as their own. But Gabriel's grandfather disapproved of the same-sex couple raising him, and by the time Gabriel was 4 years old, he was living with his grandparents. He often asked why he couldn't see his mother, why she didn't want him. He yearned for her love, a love that he would never receive from her. In September of 2012, everything changed. 7-year-old Gabriel was taken into the custody of his mother, Pearl, and her boyfriend, Isaro Aguirre. From that moment, his life spiraled into a nightmare, like something straight out of a horror movie. Relatives begged authorities not to let Gabriel live with Pearl because she was neglectful towards her other children. Pearl reportedly took Gabriel in only to gain welfare benefits. Pearl was described as somebody that was very aggressive, very abusive and violent, and she also struggled with drugs and substance abuse. And poor Gabriel was placed in this home where Pearl and Isaro unleashed the most unimaginable cruelty on him for 8 long months. What happened inside that apartment is almost too horrific to believe. Throughout his stay in the house, Gabriel was systematically abused and tortured. He was starved, beaten, burned, and he was forced to eat cat litter, spoiled food, and even his own vomit. He was gagged, bound, and locked inside a small cabinet at night. And through it all, Gabriel's siblings watched in silence, too afraid to stop the abuse. They were forced to witness their brother suffering. Gabriel got enrolled into school shortly after going to live with his mother. His teacher, Jennifer Garcia, quickly sensed that things were not okay at home. Just weeks after he started school, Jennifer says Gabriel asked her so many strange questions. Is it normal for moms to hit their kids? Is it normal to be hit with belt buckle? Is it normal for you to bleed? These were not questions any child should be asking. These were the cries of a child desperate for help. Jennifer reported this to the Los Angeles County Child Abuse Hotline, and the case was assigned to social workers. But as the school year went on, the abuse continued and worsened. Gabriel would show up to school with patches of hair missing, injuries everywhere, swollen lips from being punched in the face. Sometimes he would not even show up at all for several days. Jennifer reported her suspicions again and again to the child abuse hotline. Unfortunately, there was never a medical follow-up, and every time a social worker would go to the house, she never talked directly to Gabriel. She would only talk to his mother, Pearl. On May 22nd, 2013, Gabriel's suffering had finally reached its breaking point. He was brutally beaten, allegedly for not tidying up his toys. The beating rendered him unresponsive, and Pearl called 911 to report that the boy was not breathing. Paramedics arrived to find him naked. His injuries were horrific and beyond comprehension. A fractured skull, broken ribs, missing teeth, cigarette burns. There was even BB pellets lodged deep in his malnutrition body. There wasn't a healthy spot left on Gabriel's skin. One of the paramedics says Gabriel's case was the worst she had ever seen in her 14 years as a paramedic. Gabriel was rushed to the hospital and was pronounced brain dead. Sadly, 2 days later, his small body gave up. He was just 8 years old. The investigation was swift. Pearl and Isaro were arrested and charged with murder. The details that emerged in court shocked everyone. Isaro showed no remorse. He pled not guilty, but the jury convicted him of first-degree murder with special circumstances of torture. He received the death penalty. Pearl took a plea deal. She admitted guilt to avoid the death penalty. She was sentenced to life in prison without parole. Even the system itself faced blame. 4 social workers were charged with child abuse and falsifying records. 9 sheriff deputies were disciplined for failing to act. So many of these charges were eventually dismissed. But this case exposed a devastating truth that Gabriel's death was preventable. Gabriel's name lives on as a haunting reminder of the dangers of silence, the cracks in the broken system. He was only 8 years old, innocent and deserving of a happy life and a bright future. This is a continuous call to us all. If you see something, please say something to protect those who cannot protect themselves. Please subscribe, like, comment, and share to enable me continue to bring the stories to life.